Hello.
And we're live! Hello, ladies and gentlemen. What is this madness? Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to Naturally One. Welcome back to Naturally One.
I am providing a very unique commodity.
Please tell me the names of your companions.
Who, what, when, where, and why? I don't know if you've captured Hal yet.
Bob is sleeping outside and boiling acorns and having a good time.
Hey, how's our patient doing? Still alive back there, buddy?
Bob, I want you to roll me some percentile dice. Not only is there no pulse, he's cold.
I guess that's one less thing we have to drag around.
I got horns. I got some teeth, kind of sharp. I got some tricks up my sleeve.
And make sure that we don't cut ourselves on glass. There's one's mostly
Can we
dead.
use one of the dead bodies to break out the rest of the jagged glass at one of the windows so we don't hurt ourselves?
If you look close enough, you might notice that his eyes are moving so fast that you wonder how he can see anything. And I'm going to say, this is for hurting my friends. And I take my dagger and put it right underneath his chin. Right.
Actually kill him?
Oh yeah, he's dead. I want him.
Oh!
Small human in a big city for the first time ever in his life.
Let me guess, the highlight of your life is what you're gonna do in order to make a name for yourself, maybe one day even slay some really cool monsters. Just like every one of those guys over there.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'll be here next year. I'm gonna climb that ranking as high as I can, and I ain't gonna stop until I reach as high as I possibly can get.
Oh my gosh, we're here! Stuart's not here tonight, so we'll be jockeying around Rinningham, Backfordshire House, the 4th. Really to whoever decides to claim him in the moment. So, to summarize last week, the party had continued to explore through some of the deeper parts of the cavernous tunnels beneath the foundry in search for Klor. They reached a tunnel where there was a distinct scraping that appears to have been done on the rock. There were some mounds that seemed to breathe a stinking air into the room. And these large pill bugs, about 6-inch by 8-inch pill bug looking creatures just kind of curiously watching and steering clear of Rinningham's torchlight as he mage-handed it down the hallway, the tunnel. Upon finding a section of tunnel with a sticky substance on the ground, Rinningham tested it and determined that, this stuff's flammable. It put in the lantern, it whooshed, and out of pure blind curiosity, took the face of the lantern, put it down into there, and began to light the tunnel ablaze. Unbeknownst to the party, Klor was at the other end of the section of tunnel, and as the fire went into the various tunnels and connecting points to this cavern, fire began to erupt and spew from the different holes and surfaces, and let's just say they've been running for their lives since, only to just barely, by the skin of his teeth, catch up to the party. Klor has been on his own for several days, and now finally is in the arms of his trusty friend Theo, who is working to get him caught up with the rest of the group.
It's not going great.
Yeah.
The party is currently getting tired as they're barely ahead of the flames and smoke and continuing to run. Go ahead, Sam.
Where last we left off, Bob was looking down the hallway and saw the pending signs of another big old flare-up. So that was great.
So, Theo, Klor, and actually that's it. It's Theo and Klor are currently closest to the Raging Inferno. Next furthest is Penn and Rinningham, who continued running, although I believe Rinningham is lagging behind by a touch. And furthest along in the tunnel is Bob, who can see the sudden violent conflagration of energy just beyond his compatriots. Theo and Klor, what are you doing?
I mean, I think we're trying to head out.
Yeah. Theo is, assisting as much as he can here, trying to, sort of drag/nudge his buddy along. Klor looks worse for wear.
Klor, I believe you have 2 points of exhaustion right now, so
So half movement, yes.
That is half movement.
In fact true.
Here's the thing, though. Like, even then, if I'm, like, trying to heft you, I'm going to be moving half speed anyway, right?
So I was trying to figure out what the best way of mechanically having, do a shoulder hop movement type,
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Mechanically, they don't have anything for I'm assisting a friend who's only able to move half speed at the moment. So we're going to just make something up as we go. Theo, roll me an athletics check.
Dexterity check.
That's
an athletics check.
Yes, an athletics check.
Oh, that's right. We're doing athletics, which is why I fall behind.
Yes.
Hey, DM, that is a nat 20 for a 24.
Okay, we are starting the session off right. Yes, as Theo just kind of like wraps his arm around Klor, and Klor is just like barely, standing, struggling. Theo is just like, just use your, just hop with me as you can, and we're gonna give you guys, we're gonna say 3/4 movement.
Okay.
I will take it.
That's what, 20 feet?
I was gonna do, like, if you do a full move action, we were gonna do 22.5, so 45 feet. So you're gonna get
perfect.
Yeah,
fantastic.
As Klor is being half dragged by Theo, moving along as fast as they can. There's a sudden wave of heat, and you can hear sputtering and spackling of some sort of material hitting the ground and walls behind you. Bob.
Yes.
You see what appears to be evidence of that circle, that hole in the ground that was filled with a stinking smell, appears to be beginning to erupt. What was
preparing to burst into flames.
Yes, there's a much larger plume of energy kind of going out. The smoke and steam that was filling up the hallway before is now taking on a distinctly greenish coloration, not terribly different than the material that was spewing out when it wasn't burning. It's not looking good, Bob. Is there anything you do at your current?
Well, now, if I remember correctly, I was headed back towards the rest of the party at this point, wasn't I? Or was I just observing?
You had just turned to start doing that, and I told you what you saw as you did that as we wrapped up the session.
Okay. So this is right before movement begins.
Basically.
Okay. Visually, if I do an inventory of party members, how many members do I count?
You count 4.
Hey, the right number.
You do. You see 4. The furthest 2 off, one is Theo. You can make out Rinningham, you can make out Penn. You know one of them is Theo, and you see a 4th body, or sort of 4th person.
Yeah, 4th silhouette.
Yeah. As they are the ones that are slowly getting covered by the steam and smoke and...
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going to move towards my party members, and in an effort to assess their ability to move forward, make sure everybody's headed in the right direction, and basically whoever's closest, stop there, check on them, and convey, you need to hurry. And if they look like they're capable of moving at a quickened pace, move on to the next person, etc., until I get to somebody who doesn't look like they're able to move quickly enough to have a fighting chance at escaping this potentially erupting ball cauldron of fire that's going to consume any and everything.
Okay, so you don't have to travel far before you run into Penn, who's about 25 feet from you. Penn, have you been hindered at all in all of this?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I mean, I think I have 1 point. I have 1 point of damage.
Okay, that's right. You got hit a little bit by one of the erupting things, but you haven't really been slowed down otherwise.
Nope.
So Bob, Penn looks like they're doing all right and still sprinting full tilt.
Put a little extra spice in that step because things are about to get fiery.
Next along, you can see about 10 feet behind Penn is Rinningham, who definitely struggling a little bit. You knew that they were kind of all together, and the fact that there's now spacing, you can tell he's starting to struggle. Not coughing or sputtering or anything like that. Appears to be in motion right now. As fast as my feet can take me.
Quick physical assessment. Do I see any physical damage that would potentially impede movement, or is it just we're waiting for the adrenaline to kick in?
He's just looking haggard and tired.
Okay.
He's taking 1 point of exhaustion.
1 point of exhaustion?
Yeah, so he's looking haggard.
He's looking tired.
Yeah, it's level 2 of exhaustion when your movement speed is halved. So,
I don't think that there's anything I can do about that. Yeah, there's not a lot I can do about that. Just say good luck. Run.
Wait, remind me. Did Rinningham start all this?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
and we know it. We saw it.
I remember that part, but my actual self couldn't remember who was responsible. And there might be a sacrifice later. I don't know.
Yeah, this is not a train situation. We know who did this one.
I know. This isn't everyone doesn't know I murdered thousands of people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Our discussion started with Rinningham. What did you do before we agreed we should run?
So I'm guessing that really the best I can do is
leave Rinningham behind.
Well, wish luck and encouragement, and say go that way as quickly as you can. Because I really don't have anything that's able to offset exhaustion. I mean,
is there a safe zone in front of us, or are we just still running?
Keep going. Okay. Just keep going, because things are about to get ugly here. At least that's what I believe, and that's the message I'm conveying.
Okay, no.
All right, so Rinningham looks like he's got sort of a fighting chance, but not really. If things get real bad, maybe we can pick him up and carry him on the way out. I don't know.
Yeah,
boot him.
He's light.
Just drop kick him.
Yeah, we could do that.
Just ready, set,
yeah.
Throw him.
Can you
eat the Verdan?
You just gotta. You just gotta creature shift into like a kangaroo or something.
Oh, I like that.
Put him in the pouch. Hop along.
How many feet can you bound? 12 feet at a time.
Wait, this is a great idea.
I love it. Let's just encourage him to continue going while I go back to check on what appears to be our last 2 members, and if everybody's in good shape, then we'll see what can be done during the escape.
All right, so if you finish your full run, there's basically a 5-foot gap between you and Theo and Klor, so 10 feet.
And what do I see? Do I see like folks in reasonably good shape or folks in reasonably bad shape?
Klor looks a little worse for wear. Definitely looks haggard, eaten a little bit.
Just a smidgen.
Dripping of exhaustion.
Honestly, Klor looks very, very tired. He doesn't look injured, doesn't look anything else, but in keeping uninjured, he is exhausted himself.
Little green on the gills as well.
You have gills?
Yeah, you didn't know that? Hobgoblins
you don't know
have
about
gills.
hobgoblin anatomy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need to see a picture of Klor at some point.
I think I made one of those little things.
Oh, I should
With
send it later.
Arrow pointing to the gills.
So you recognize at this distance you can make out Theo is Theo and this is Klor, and they are moving along as best they can.
Okay, so we're definitely moving slower than normal here, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that perhaps I should lend some assistance and check with Klor. Like, are you injured?
I don't think so. I'm just really tired.
Huh. What we need now is espresso. Too bad
Yes.
we don't have time to make any.
Okay.
We got to get out of here. Let's go. And
I
I
didn't realize what spells Rinningham had picked when he leveled up.
Okay.
So this is
Can
going
he
to be
solve
really
all this?
There's a chance. So Rinningham starts kind of like muttering to himself, and Penn, being the closest, can kind of sort of hear from behind him what sounds to be like a, please for the love of God, get us out of here. Please for the love of God, get us out of here. Please for the love of God, get us out of here. Please for the love of God, get us out of here. And he's
embracing his bardic side.
That get us on the table.
5.
That does not work the way I wanted it to. The tune changes to less of a let's get out of here to whatever this is that's causing this, we're gonna fight it to the death. Whatever this is that's causing this, we're gonna fight it to the death. And a bunch of his just motif just kind of changes.
What's it supposed to do? Turn around and tell the fire no. Bad. Stop that.
But he doesn't stop running. He just otherwise keeps running. You can just hear that he's muttering to himself, and it's a very rhythmic chant. Hen, what do? He's trying to best keep up with you as you're running. What? Anything you do?
Anything I do. No, I think most of the stuff I could do would be mean.
I'm not surprised.
I admire your restraint.
Very morbidly curious. I'm not saying I want to see what it is that you do, but I'm not.
I'll remember this is a cooperative game.
For the record,
It's not.
before we continue, I would like to say that I would enjoy this scene if everybody except for Penn died, and what Penn would do with the bodies.
Oh yeah, it would be great. 3 new houses.
You act like that isn't the point if you all die. It's like you act like that isn't the point if any of you die throughout this campaign. You're coming with us. Just whether you want to or not, you're still going with us.
So here's the question: in a situation like that, could we set it up to where we're an entire party of undead?
Ooh.
I mean, they do have classes for it.
Yeah, there's templates, there's classes, there's even some, homebrew stuff that I can comb through. I'm not saying it's outside the realm of possibility.
So potentially, even if we experience a TPK, there could well be a rabbit stuck in that hat.
Yes, potentially. Working through some of the logistics of that. If Penn is the only survivor, Penn and I are going to need to have a really long conversation about some of that.
Really?
Yes. If that ends up ever happening, we're going to have some very interesting conversation.
I plan on surviving, so.
Right. Yeah. We'll discuss it if that comes to it. But for now, let's just focus on getting out of here alive.
All right. So they are handling sprinting, and now circling back because you guys are close enough in proximity, it's going to be based Bob, Klor, and Theo. All three of you begin to hear what starts as a rhythmic, like, help us get out of here, get us out of here. And that turns into, whatever the hell, let's kill it. We're going to kill it. We're going to fight it. But, musically rhythmic, much better than I can do because I'm not Rinningham, really. I just play him on TV.
We're all gonna kill it. We're all gonna kill it.
There you go.
Perfect.
We're gonna kill
Perfect.
it after all.
Literally
Wonderful.
could not
Amazing.
have asked for better.
Beautiful.
All right, so we're gonna kind of sort of merge your stuff together. Theo and Klor, you guys are the ones still kind of joined at the hip. Theo, can you roll me another athletics check, please?
Sure. It's a 16, DM.
That'll work. Klor and Theo, you guys are able to continue going forward. Klor, do you do anything other than run?
No, there's nothing else I would like to do.
Are you sure? All right, so you guys are able to go a full distance again of 45 feet. Bob, you catch up with them and they are basically starting to pass you. What are you doing? Are you going to turn around and run with them or coax them along? What are you adding to the bunch?
We're moving it at a movement pace of 45 feet, is that right?
Right now, the two of them together are able to move at a pace of about 45 feet, courtesy of Theo's redonkulous strength score.
And this is
Theo's athletic check.
Everybody else is moving at 60.
Yeah.
You're gonna
So this
jinx
is the
me,
slowest
Keep
chunk
that
of
up.
the party. This is a dissatisfying rate of movement.
Yes, help.
Oh, Bob, for you
we are
especially,
trying our best, okay?
the greenish smoke is actually beginning to surround the three of you. You can still make out Rinningham and Penn up ahead, but it's beginning to cloud the vision a bit. And only with running, like basically from where you meet up with them, it's starting to catch up. It's not going 45 feet per round, but it's going pretty damn quick.
Incidentally, DM, one of the things that Theo would have recommended when the smoke started rolling in was keeping your heads down and trying to cover up while you're running as much as possible.
Okay.
Don't inhale it.
Noted.
Hold your breath.
I ain't bright, but I know that much.
Okay. At this point, we find this dissatisfying. We must move quicker. So let's look at having Bob doing one of his cool transformations. Except this time we're going to go for something a little bit bigger. We're not doing a kitty cat now, or maybe we will do a kitty cat. But there's a catch because we have to establish whether or not Bob, in his wild ramblings prior to this, had encountered any of these CR1 eligible critters.
So what are you trying to turn into? And we can kind of sort of go from there.
Yeah, let's just kind of start with a dire wolf. Do you think he's ever seen one of those?
Actually, that's well within the range of something you would have seen. Growing up literally out in the wilds, a dire wolf is definitely within spec.
just for the sake of keeping everything on the level, do we want to establish a percentage chance of encountering one under normal circumstances? Or do we just want to say, yeah,
I was going to just give it to you. I was just going to give it to you.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just do it that way. I just wanted to put that option out there, just to keep everything on the level.
If Rinningham were going to try to like turn into a direwolf for some ding dong reason, I was going to be like, well, but the way your character background is, it fits.
Okay, cool. That's what I was thinking, but at the same time, I don't want to be like presumptuous. And besides, sometimes there's a lot of fun when you fail the rolls. Not that I want to under these circumstances, but it does add to the storytelling. Okay, so at this point, Bob is going to wild shape into a wolf of direness right there in front of everybody.
Which is a large creature, by the way.
Yep. It's going to take up a lot of room.
Barely fits.
Is it not on fire?
It's a 15-foot hallway. And so, luckily, Theo and Klor are have just run past, and all of a sudden, Bob starts hulking out into direwolf form. Go for it.
And so you know how a golden retriever that's trained to retrieve ducks, some of them have what they call a soft mouth, where they can retrieve the ducks without actually harming the duck. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I hate all of this.
Imagine a great big mean-looking golden retriever with a soft mouth grabbing up Klor and moving forward as quickly as possible.
I love it. I can just see his feet, his his toes are just kind of skimming the ground, and he's holding his head up, trying I got this, okay.
So, I have two questions with this. The first one, can you give me an athletics check as you are going to just try to run by and pick him up and soft mouth him?
Yeah.
Dexterity check for the bite pressure.
Oh, this will be awesome. Let's see. Acrobatics check. Let's find out what we got.
Athletics, not acrobatics. Athletics.
Oh, damn it.
Can we go with the acrobatics?
All right, athletics. Let's try that. I just blew my good roll.
And you get this. You get the direwolf's strength score. I was going to keep your original roll and just change out the stat.
Okay. Well, then that would have been 22 because he gets one more strength than I do.
Yes. So it would have been a 22. Now, Klor, I have a very important question for you.
Freak out. Yes, I freak out.
That is what I was. You have the option of panicking, flailing, and going for an acrobatics check to kind of wiggle your way and escape out of this in a blind panic. However, no, you will have disadvantage on that. You can try to physically fight against the sudden pressure that has engulfed your torso and is carrying you along, also with disadvantage. That would be an athletics check. Or you can just, cry and submit to the horrors of being in a, wolf's maw all of a sudden without really knowing that that's what's going on. Because, he was behind
this
you.
Big, scary dog.
He was behind me, so did I see him approach?
We're focused on booking.
I mean, you're booking that.
I did speak to him and ask him if he had any damage.
That is true.
That
is true.
Klor, do you have any damage? No.
I'm just tired.
And all of a sudden,
direwolf. Got it.
Yeah, basically.
I think I honestly, I do believe at this point Klor has resigned to his fate of 2 points of exhaustion and
screw it. What else is going to happen today?
What's going to happen is going to happen. So I think this is more of
fire, all these things. Oh, so this is how it ends.
Yeah.
At least it's quicker than being roasted to death, right?
You know what? I'm going to try and get out of this.
All right. You have your choice.
I'm going to roll
Worming to death or pushing back.
We will squirm to death.
All right.
I will try and wriggle my way.
Yeah, it's with disadvantage on your acrobatics check.
Ooh, I don't even need disadvantage. That's just a terrible roll. But I'll take it anyway to see. I'll just take 2 7s, both 5.
That's a 77, isn't it?
One would wish.
Bob, just since you just poofed yourself into a dire wolf, it's a very strange sensation. You've been dogs, you've been cats, you've played around. To know that you just picked up a friend in your maw,
it feels powerful.
It does feel powerful. And to know that they are suddenly like struggling and trying to squirm, and poor Klor, there's this big wet tongue just kind of like draped across the back of your neck, and it's just like, as Bob is starting to run with you in his mouth, you're just like bouncing with the steps and just kind of like you're squirming and trying to get the hell out, and it's just like, no. Yeah. It's dark. It's dark and wet.
But we're making good time.
I would just like to say, as this happens, since Theo was helping Klor, like when they run past, Theo's like one reaction is just, holy shit. That's it. He doesn't like to cuss, but that is appropriate for it. Like even his mama would allow that one.
Where did that come from?
Yeah, suddenly, a direwolf just shows up, picks up the guy you've been limping along with, and just takes off with him.
Theo has seen some stuff in his short time traveling, but that is not something he expected that he would see.
All right, so Bob, you had to run 10 feet to catch up to them as they were passing you, basically. So we'll level it out to 5. Took an action in order to transform, or is it a bonus? It's an action, right? Standard action?
I believe it's a standard action. Yes.
Okay. So then you're not going to get the full 50 feet as your direwolf. You're going to get the remaining as like 40. We'll just cut it to 40.
And then next turn we'll book it.
Yeah, I'll say, Theo, the other thing you notice is this direwolf is just like booking it.
Yeah.
just passes you with ease. Oh, you guys. I love you guys so much.
The dog has the right idea, and now I can run faster too. So good dog.
All right.
And he's headed in the right direction.
Yeah. So up front now is Hen. Hen, you are now in the lead, heading away from all of this.
Hey.
You are less than 30 feet from one of the last round areas that you had seen with like a hit in the ground or anything like that. And beyond that is, the path that brings you back towards the grotto, where the mushrooms and stuff were.
Oh boy.
Where it gets super dark and there weren't as many scrapings or obvious textures in the ground. It's a bit of a ways down, but that's where you're headed.
We're headed that way, but did this algae stuff, was it like bioluminescent before Rinningham set it on fire?
This was not algae stuff. This was, remember, this tunnel was pitch black and he had a lantern that he was moving around with it. Yeah. It was the entire other hallway that had the bioluminescent fungal stuff. It was the path less traveled.
Okay, but the stuff that's on fire isn't back in the room of which we're running back towards that we came from.
Not to your knowledge, no.
Because we already walked past it and it wasn't there.
Correct.
Yeah, I'm gonna just keep hiking it. I'm not looking back. I'm not looking back. If I can see Rinningham, I am shooting him dirty glances and I'm probably threatening that if so help me, if there is something else in here, I'm going to sacrifice you to it to save anything else. I don't care if it's a bag, I don't care if it's a person, I don't care if it's a single copper coin. I will throw you into it and let it eat you.
So you give Rinningham, who's only 10 feet behind you, while you're running, that look. Okay, you happen to notice that as he is doing his whole we're not gonna take it, you happen to see that he is holding, and it fits pretty solidly in both of his hands, what seems to be a skull of sorts, but not so much humanoid as it is reminiscent of the fungal man thing that you guys had to fight not 24 hours ago. And his eyes appear to be having a faint yellowish glow as he is singing this song, holding tight to this skull in his hands. And he just keeps on trucking right behind you, doesn't even pay any mind to your dirty looks.
That's fine.
Okay.
I need Bob and Theo to make dexterity saving throws.
15.
Ooh, 10. I'm awesome.
Okay.
Doggo, no!
Theo, as you're running, you begin to feel a distinct warmth behind you as specks of material begin to just kind of pepper your back. And as you're running, you just kind of notice that there's flames starting to lick across the ceiling. And not 5 feet behind you is a sudden swarm of those pillbug-like creatures, just going full tilt. Bob, you have the unfortunate pleasure of your back is so close to the ceiling of this room, you didn't notice that you were too busy wrestling with, Klor in your mouth, trying to keep him from falling out, that you didn't see the flames start to lick across the ceiling, and they start to burn at your back.
Ow. This sucks.
And that is, that is 10 points of fire damage.
Oh boy.
Now, you do have the dire wolf's hit points, because that's when you wild shape, so at least you got that going for you.
True, that helps.
Heck yeah.
It's a buffer. We like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Which, oddly enough, even with 10 points of damage, I still have more hit points than I did originally, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Let me get
wild shape. Gotta love it.
Keep up with this.
You picked an appropriate creature to Hulk out into. However, otherwise, neither of you have your movement hindered. In fact, if Bob is still doing full sprint, the only thing that's going to keep him from really doing that is Klor. Klor, what are you doing? You've been trying to wriggle and struggle free from this dark, wet, very canine breathy maw that you're in. What are you? So far to no avail. But what are you doing?
Can I try and use my dark vision to try and see if I'm going away or toward the impending doom of the flames?
Impending doom of the flames? You can't see any flames.
I am like, I can't see. There's no
just basically
danger.
just imagine it just kind of came down, chomped down on your torso. Your head is, in the mouth, and it's just holding on to you.
Oh, I'm backwards.
You're more like, you're upright, but you're just being kind of like dangled above the ground as Bob is just running with you. You're facing
Turned down
forward.
a puppy paws.
Technically, you're just in a puppy maw as you're doing it. Yeah, you're a chew toy right now.
But there's no fire anywhere.
Not that you can see. It's wet and dark. In fact, if your dark vision shows that you are in a mouth, there are teeth. There is basically the roof of his mouth is right in front of your face.
For Klor, this is an improvement, a small one, but an improvement. I'm gonna try and get out again. I assume there's no fire danger anymore, and I'm just trying to be eaten.
The immediate problem is not getting eaten. Okay, your choice again: acrobatics, athletics, or there's some disadvantage rules with it. But if you wanted to, Eldritch Blast.
You don't have to give him that idea.
That would be an 8 for acrobatics at disadvantage.
Yeah, no, you're still comfortably in that maw.
Along for the ride, I guess.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Bob, you are feeling very interesting. It just continues to writhe and wriggle and try to shake free. And it's like, you knew when you grabbed him, you just kind of like got the arms and just so, and you're pretty confident he's solid in there. But it's just interesting to feel it, kind of.
Hobgoblins, gross meat. Don't eat me. Don't eat me.
Lots of cholesterol, from what I hear.
Bad for your skin.
Now, you wouldn't be able to just swallow him whole. That requires 2 size categories difference. But,
Yeah.
He comfortably fits in your mouth, though. And if you were to want to stomp, you would definitely do some real fun. All right. So, Ken, you keep running, obviously, as you've been doing. And you finally reach a section of hallway where there starts to be less pitting in the ground. You pass through that last kind of circular area and just kind of suddenly find yourself where there's fewer and fewer of the holes. Rinningham, again, hot on your heels, is continuing to just sing his song, but his eyes are fading, like the color is fading, but he's still just kind of, and he's not singing as loudly, but it is still present. You kind of can see his mouth moving and hear his voice over the footsteps of the two of you clambering. Is there anything in particular you do other than run?
Nope.
Okay. Theo.
Yes.
The greenish haze begins to take on a distinctly sulfurous smell that you recognize pretty immediatly as this might turn into a very hot situation very fast if it, it's just real as the pill bugs begin to actually like roll over each other and go faster than you. Or before they've only been like right behind you barely, now they start to go around you. I need another athletics check as this you're being left in the dust unfortunately right now as
I'm the token human in the party. Theo had to help his friends. If he goes down here, he'll be happy. It's fine. Athletics check. Got it.
Yep. Just keep on sprinting.
It's a nat 1 for a great old 5.
First nat 20, first nat 1, same thing.
I told you jinxed me, DM.
You did mention that. So
Alright, what's the damage? Oh, by the way, if Theo dies here, I'm gonna mention something at the very end of this, just to drive it home. Basic facts, but that's okay. Alright, what happens, DM? Tell me.
Like a threat.
So
Curious.
you take 6 points of fire damage.
Okay.
As the greenish smoke vapors begin to up and ignite behind you. And you feel a whoosh that kind of pushes you forward, and you need to give me a dexterity saving throw.
Alright, that's a 16, DM.
You can.
Okay, you do not trip over all of the pillbugs and stuff that are running in front of you. You don't get your full movement this turn. You stop at 30 feet instead of the full 60 you've been trying to sprint each time. But the greenish haze that was right at the edge of your vision has kind of passed backwards, but you now have an idea of what happens when it gets too close.
Okay, great. Theo's just gonna yell out, because talking is a free action, to say, keep going, don't stop, just keep going! And he's gonna cover his mouth.
And with it, you notice the flames across the ceiling are continuing to lick across where there's the green smoke kind of heads up there, and the flames go a little bit further. And Bob, it is your turn. Last turn you took some heat. There's fire on your tail.
And we are still running forward.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to just kind of jet forward. It's a bit of a snug fit getting through the entrance of the circular area and moving on into the next space. As you pass through this area, the light is suddenly very dim just beyond the entrance, because the rotation of the pathways with this room is enough that it cuts most of the light out as soon as you enter the hallway.
Fear, motivation, determination, motivation. Get the hell out of here, motivation. We're still going forward.
All right, you are not far behind. Actually, give me a perception check. Give me a perception check.
Okay, there we are.
Okay.
What a 4.
No. What is it, Bob? Tell the part. Tell the group. Tell the team.
What, the differences between the advantages?
No, just what your roll was.
Oh, it was a 21. It was a 17 plus 4.
Woo!
So,
which the thing I was asking about, because in dire wolf form I get a +1 advantage, but as my normal character it's +4. So I'm assuming
you keep your mental stats. So it's only the physical stats that would have changed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is that with the mental stats, I'm actually doing better, even though I get an advantage for being in wolf form. I found that entertaining.
Yes. So the problem is that you're in dim lighting, so it was one of those like weird. I didn't give you the opportunity to specify whether it was hearing or smell that you were using to perceive, and that's probably on me.
Oh.
However, with a 21, so if it was, that's where I gave it a flat roll. If it was sight only, it would have been disadvantage.
Yeah. Most likely smell.
I was going to go with, you can
he's
hear.
not a bat.
It's true, it's not echolocation. I was going to just say, like, you can hear the panting and murmuring and musical ministrations of Rinningham and an extra pair of humanoid feet not far ahead of that. And you're just kind of able to follow the sound.
That'd work.
Good dog.
Woof.
So we're gonna go back to 10. You can see that there's less and less smoke, and you can feel it in your breathing, and things are starting to kind of calm down behind you. And up ahead, it's starting to, it's clearer, where smoke does still work in dark vision. Like it still obscures your sight, and it's becoming clearer and clearer as you continue down towards the grotto. Anything in particular you try to do, want to do? You like doing?
I am gonna slow my pace and glance behind as to what it looks like behind me in the chaos. Not completely.
Okay, so you turn around like just a bit. You can see Rinningham is still there running, clutching this thing as he just kind of goes full tilt. You slowing down, he's catching up, but he's really not paying much mind to you at all. And you can see something you didn't really expect to, as there's now the hulking form of a direwolf with the lower half of a recognizable hobgoblin hanging out from its maw, the arms kind of flailing at the sides a little bit, occasionally going inside the mouth a little bit, and
oh boy.
And then faintly in the distance, you can see like a glow that kind of like, when you're in dark vision, just kind of like it's a little much of light. But that's you see 3 entities at the moment. You do not currently see a Theo.
Penn is just going to raise an eyebrow and turn around and continue.
That's weird. Okay.
That checks out. Like, okay.
That's
my party.
Thing for number one.
So, Rinningham is going to keep running. However, the singing kind of slows down even more, and you happen to notice this, Pen, as his eyes just get wider and wider and wider as he realizes the lantern is back that way.
A lantern with the source of open flame in it.
Yeah, the thing he was using to light the tunnel and light the way as you guys were traveling through is that a ways.
Direction that he sprinted from that Theo's still stuck in.
Wait. I have a thought. Is it? Oh wait.
I've got a candle, but I'm transformed.
A lamp has been removed from Rinningham's inventory because somebody decided to put the thing face down, watch as it went whoosh, and then never reinstated Mage Hand or did anything else with it, and just started running with the rest of the party. Because it is an action to keep it moving.
Nope, I got nothing.
Okay.
Everything I would do involves nearly murdering, so no, I got nothing.
Look, Pen is good at a couple of things, one of which is dealing death. We cannot fault you for being good at that thing.
I mean, I was trying to see if thaumaturgy would work on any light source, but it doesn't. It works on fire.
Correct. If you had like prestidigitation, you could do like
then I could do it.
Like that.
And at that point, I would light Rinningham on fire and then use thaumaturgy to make it brighter. And then I'd use him as a human lantern. Or lantern. He'd be a Verdan lantern.
Burn out very quickly.
Would he though?
So as you're looking back, he just kind of like, you can see the panic beginning to well up in his eyes as the singing kind of slows down. And he just kind of, you're going to be able to do this better than I am, starts just crying out to you for help of like, where are you? Like, where am I? Where is this? Where are we going? Why are we running?
Wait, how far away is Rinningham?
Only
is he like side by side?
Thereabouts, yeah, at this point, because he was about 10 feet behind you, but you said you slowed down to kind of look, so we'll say he caught up.
Can I see the whole room we're in, or are we in the Are we in the tunnel?
You're still in the tunnel, but there's fewer and fewer of the pockets that were. This is when you first suspected that you guys were possibly being followed. The texture is just starting to get much smoother on the ground and everything else.
Penn is just going to direct his anger into words at Rinningham, so that if Rinningham so chooses, he can follow the sound of Penn's voice.
I love that. I love that so much.
So he's just going to begin a small rant of, possibly some name calling and curses upon for deciding to fling a lantern about and what it has caused upon them, and how he blames them for this, and how are they going to get out of it. And
I'm going to say, for the sake of flavor, can we get instead of a third person description of the things you are saying, and actually hear some of what Penn is relaying to Rinningham?
You vile little green imp! You took us down here, leading us around with a stick of fire, and you went and you smartly decided, I'm gonna fling this around. What can happen if I touch it? And you blew the whole thing up. You've literally now caused a fire inside of a tunnel that could have myrtleized us all.
Wait. I didn't start the fire. All I did was try to take a lantern. All I did was take my lantern and try to see if the thing was actually going to continue to light up. It didn't light.
You're all impulse. That's why you're an imp. You're all impulse. That's what it's short for. Impulse.
Excuse me.
Fighting words.
I'm just gonna keep going as they go down the tunnel.
Pen, give me a charisma saving throw, Pen.
14.
You don't hear it in your head, but you feel a pressure in your mind of not necessarily angry, but it's like an additional weight of Rinningham's rambling of,
I didn't mean to set the whole tunnel on fire. How was I supposed to know that the whole thing was going to just ignite and go to the plumes of all? You can't blame me for not knowing how all these things are going to work when we get into these sort of situations. And
just kind of everything you're dishing back, basically trying to keep up with you. But you can see that a part of him is just a smidge, a hair, grateful to know physically where you are in proximity to him. I need you to roll me some percentile dice, and then I need Theo to roll me some percentile dice.
Oh, great. Okay, wonderful.
So pens matter first, and then we're gonna pop back to Theo.
68.
You happen to see, coming up, Rinningham is running straight towards a stalagmite-type shape carved in the ground.
Is it just flat in the center, and if he goes left or right, he'll be okay?
Yeah.
Well, of course, you little imp, if you hadn't gone left immediately, we would have been able to have saved ourselves from this.
I have to roll, and I don't even know what to roll for Rinningham on to even pick up if there's any nuance to that at all. So let's do, oh gosh, we're gonna do an intelligence check first, and then if he can even do that, we're gonna do an insight check to see if he understands what you mean. Nat 1 on the intelligence check. Okay, he does not understand at all.
Do I hear a splat?
Oh, you don't even, you watch it. You watch it happen.
Oh.
You're the one who gets the front row seat here. You can actually see it. I'm jealous.
Bob, you hear Rinningham and Pens ranting, because they're only a couple of feet, 15, 20 feet in front of you. You hear they're going back and forth, and all of a sudden you hear a solid thunk as Rinningham just starts crying out and is halted. And he takes 5 points of bludgeoning damage from just running dead on blindly. It's one thing if he could have predicted and known that it was going to be there.
Yeah.
Nah.
Pen is going to stop and look up into the nothingness of the cavern. It's one of those moments in Pen's mind where it feels like everything is moving slower, but obviously this is all happening in a very, very quick amount of actual time. Obviously. But just for a moment, as the thought occurs, he's going to look up into the sky, and I'm not sure that Ben has a deity necessarily of any kind that he has any connections to, but he's going to look up and mentally tell the universe, this is one of my first atonements. I get it.
Oh.
And he's going to stop and reach over for Rinningham, grab him, and throw him on like a backpack.
I love it. Oh.
And continue running.
Okay, on your next turn, you will have to do an athletics check about carrying him like that, but...
As a piggyback?
Yeah, just at first, because while he is a size category smaller, we're going to make sure that that's as smooth of a transition. And we're going to move over to Theo.
Yeah, that was a 28.
I saw.
Lay it on me.
Could have been a lot worse. You did okay. You feel the ground beneath your feet beginning to rumble faintly, and it's different than just the fact that the pillbugs are getting further and further ahead of you. The rumbling doesn't feel like it's coming from in front of you. You don't hear anyone calling back towards you about anything that would be related, and so there's a distinct rumbling sensation behind you, and you feel another wave of heat beginning to build as the green smoke and mist begins to kind of get closer and closer. Luckily, there's enough light from the fire coming behind you that you can still see ahead. Before a large, rocky-looking, skinned, the closest description is a worm, begins to pass you on the side, and you can see that at the top or at the front are a bunch of holes slightly larger than the pillbugs, and this looks very much like the structure that had been sticking upright in the center of the round area. Yeah, distinctly like that as it moves up and a slit on its side opens up, and you can see a black, shiny, bulbous eye. You can't tell if it's focusing on you or anything. There's no pupil, and then it just kind of slowly closes, and the pillbugs give it some birth as it starts to move forward, and some of them try to climb onto it and into it and begin to burrow inside of the holes in its head.
Not right now, Sauron. I'm busy.
As it continues to catch, slowly, it's slowly gaining past you, or going further than you, but its length appears to be further behind you, and you can see that there are deep burns and pieces of its body that are severely damaged. There's sections of it as it wriggles and tries to do its movement that aren't bending with the rest of its form, and there's sections that don't appear to be moving almost at all as the pillbugs begin to try to find ways onto it and into it, and as it continues to move ahead of you. What would you like to do?
Theo feels bad for this creature. He's never seen anything like this before. He does have kind of like a deep respect for nature. He realizes, the pillbugs are trying to flee. This thing is trying to flee. He's trying to flee. They're all trying to get out alive. Is it worm-like enough that Theo would assume that it would be able to survive if he were to, bisect it?
Roll me a knowledge nature check. Yeah, nature check. We're just gonna go with that.
Sorry, I know it's a really weird question.
And unfortunately, it's gonna be. I hate to do this, but with disadvantage.
Oh, with disadvantage? Okay,
yeah,
in case I get worse than a 7. That's a 7.
Okay. You're a farmer.
Oh yeah.
You've seen some things in the woods on occasion that piqued your interest, and you've seen some. You never ran into oozes before until you were confronted with whatever this is. Oh yeah.
Okay.
The giant pillbugs were pushing it. Now the fact that they're just clambering onto this thing that's gaining and then passing you.
All right, so DM, the burns that seem to have kind of stopped it a little bit, right?
It's still moving. It's just one of those. There's sections of it that you can tell are not performing the way that we're gonna say healthier sections appear to be.
But they still look solid.
No, they're pitted. Like there's chunks of material missing, body missing.
Because of the burns, or because of the holes for the buggies?
These are burns, distinctly.
Okay, well, with that information, Theo is just gonna keep running. Gonna keep sprinting at this point in time.
Okay.
And except that as he's doing it, he's not, he doesn't know if this thing can understand him, but he feels like maybe they had a moment. And he doesn't know that there's much that he can do to assist. So he's just gonna try to encourage it as much as possible.
Okay. From what you can tell, its body continues on into the mist and smoke behind you. You don't know how long this thing is, and it has only moved forward in front of you by about 50. The head of it is about 15 feet in front of you, but you can see about 15 feet behind you. You can see where parts aren't behaving as well as others. It's about 8 feet in diameter.
8 feet in diameter. Okay, you know what, DM? I'm gonna backtrack that. I do feel bad here. Oh, this could go so horribly bad. This could go absolutely horribly bad. Theo's never seen one of these before, right?
No,
He's seen earthworms. He's seen earthworms.
Yeah, you've seen earthworms, yeah, and basic,
right?
Little, yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And presumably, at one point in time, his smart little brother has mentioned things about earthworms.
Uh-huh.
All Theo knows is that they're, helpful pests. He likes them. So, this thing is obviously too big for Theo to move. He's gonna get the shovel out and he's gonna give it a good whack and try to bisect it, where one of the bad parts is.
Okay.
What?
Roll to attack.
What? Go terrible. It's gonna go terribly. It's gonna go absolutely awfully.
Rinningham and I are past this, right?
The 22
Oh yeah,
DM.
well past this. Oh my god. Okay. Roll for damage.
Oh, he's gonna apologetically, he's being very apologetic here. Let's see, he's going for slashing, because obviously. So that'll be a 1d8, plus a 3. So that's 3 damage to the creature. One of the more damaged parts to try to bisect it. Maybe if it can drop some dead weight, it can move faster. That's the thinking here.
Okay. You slice, and as you do, some of this, it's not as viscous as what you had seen before, but there's a greenish ooze that comes out and coats along as this thing is just booking, and you can see some of the pill bugs that are near it begin to kind of clamber up to where the cut is and grip on and try to hold it shut as the section kind of wriggles wildly, and it slows down just it's still ahead of you, but it's not passing you as virulently as it was before. Okay, yeah, that's...
Yeah, we turn our back for just one moment and she starts killing the pill bug gods.
Okay, look, Theo was trying to help. He is not smart. He failed that nature check. This is something that makes sense to him. To me as a player, does it make sense? Absolutely not. To Theo, the himbo, does it make sense? Absolutely yes. It's all motivated by, like, good intentions here, all right? He's thinking, this thing is big. Maybe if I get rid of some of the dead weight, whatever it is can move faster, and then maybe we can all get out of here alive. Would I do this personally as a person? Absolutely not. Would Theo, with his intelligence score of a solid 0 with an 11, do this? Probably.
I as with many things in this campaign, I pictured this going a little differently. I pictured this going a little differently, but you know what? We're gonna cycle around to Bob and Klor. Klor, can you roll me a perception check, please, from within inside the mouth that you are in? You know it's a mouth. That much you can tell.
Look, they're tonsils.
That is back-to-back 18s. That is with disadvantage.
That is a statistical, fantastic nature thing. You can hear. You calm down for just a second, just enough to hear the bickering of Rinningham and Penn, and then the sudden thunk of Rinningham, crying out, "Ow!"
Oh, that provides me much comfort. My situation is greatly improving by the second.
Did you choose to do anything else while you're, you've noticed that you haven't been bitten per se. Nothing has crunched down yet.
I think that I am changing my viewpoint, and I will not try and get out of said mouth. Maybe work with whoever I'm being carried by to adjust so I'm not facing inside of a mouth, and maybe try and rotate myself to where I can see what's happening and continue to be carried.
All right, roll the. Trying to think of what this would work as. I was gonna say
animal handling.
That's funny. That's funny. Actually,
one arm reaches up and starts giving Bob a good chin scratch for encouragement.
Yeah.
Bob cannot talk back to you, so I'm trying. Bob can understand you, but Bob cannot talk back to you. So I'm trying to figure out what the best. You know what?
I'm
it's
just
up to you.
Yelling, let me see.
Okay.
Let me see. Let me see. I'm gonna try and maneuver deeper into the mouth. So
I'm gonna choke him first.
And push my head out. I can see.
All right, Bob, you start feeling some very interesting things as the person you are carrying is starting to pull their way into your throat, where he can't fully fit.
Let me turn.
Okay.
Let me turn.
And you hear muffling. You can understand it, but
All right. Under the circumstances, my thought is, okay, I've got pretty big teeth. He can grab onto those. It sounds. Do I hear "let me turn"?
Well enough, yeah. You can. Okay. We'll say you can make that out. Yeah.
Okay.
You get advantage on the check anyway, so if you really want to, we can roll the check.
Well, we may as well.
Well, I get disadvantage, so I need the advantage to cancel that out.
It's perception for Bob to please, for the love of God. I was gonna just give it to you, but if you're gonna roll, we should just roll. Let's make this happen.
The fates decide.
I'm gonna laugh
19,
so hard. Okay.
We're good.
Well, you have advantage, so it could be even better.
Oh, give me a natural 20.
All right, let's see what happens. Let's try again. Bang!
Let me.
Oh, not much better. No.
Okay.
No. So we're still good.
So yeah, no, you fully understand. You hear the whole let me see.
Okay. Under those circumstances, we're going to release the grip tentatively because I don't want to drop him. But we're going to kind of, in my brain, it's like, okay, grab the canines. Just grab the canines. That's all I'm thinking. Because we got 4 of them, and they're easy to hold on to, and they're good for holding on to. So we're going to release the grip and kind of allow some movement to take place.
Klor, roll me a dexterity saving throw.
I cannot hear thoughts, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's the other party member.
Oh, wow. That was almost bad, but it's a 17.
Hey!
It's at disadvantage. You're still exhausted.
It is not. Saving throws are not, just ability checks.
Well, you're also poisoned, so...
I'm poisoned, too?
Yeah, you remember that? Because you were breathing in all this stuff. Okay, so that's ability checks. Oh, saving throws is 3. So you're right. Thank
you.
You're right.
You, Lord.
Yay!
Okay, so 17 stands.
So the maw... 17 stands. The maw opens, and you feel a rush of cold, but not dog breath, air, kind of just rush up against you, but you can't see anything. It is pitch black. You have dark vision. That's right. You have dark vision.
Yes.
I forget that you have it. I forgot that there's 3. I forgot there's only 2 people in the party who don't have it. I, for some reason, only think of Bob and Penn. I forget that you have it. So, yes, you can see the teeth, and you can see the ground moving fast beneath you, very fast. And you're able to, like, kind of, as you feel the slide start to happen, as the maw opens, you can catch yourself onto the teeth and begin to kind of maneuver yourself so that you can kind of peek out. You're holding on to the teeth of a half-open mouth, and you're able to kind of peek below the lips and see what's
mental
going
image
on.
is amazing. I love it.
And I poke my head out as we're going along, and I say, I could just get on your back. And then I duck back inside the mouth.
You really can't, though. He's big.
You can't because the back's touching the roof of the...
his back's right up at the ceiling.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I said get on back.
I peek my head back out and I say, never mind, I'm comfortable.
Hey, DM, I have one question for you, because now I'm curious. If
you.
it's not dog breath, what does it smell like?
Vile.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know that. Please don't tell me that.
It's more just a return of the smell that you had right before. It's just faint, but it's still... There's a freshish, cavernous air smell. You have the dog breath smell. You have a little bit of that burny, smoky, nasty smell. It's all kind of a... Oh, that's right, because Bob took some fire damage. There's some burnt hair smell in there as well. It's a particular pungent blend.
Beautiful.
However, Bob, with all this going on, you have basically caught up to Penn and Rinningham.
So we've caught up, and I've heard the owl of Rinningham. How well am I able to see Rinningham in front of me? Should be like somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 feet or so.
Basically not at all. It's pitch black, so if you were to roll a perception check for vision, it'd be at disadvantage.
How about if I were to do a perception check to smell him?
Okay, I'll give it to you, because you definitely smelt him when you were in dog form before, so we can pass that along.
Okay, I'm going to try and find him in the dark. That's what we're going to be trying to do here, so
find him in the dark. Down like a
You're on a roll, Shelby. I love it.
I rolled an 8, and in wolf form with smell, that's +3, so that's an 11.
You keep your stats, so it's a 12, and you have an advantage, so you roll again, and take the higher of the two.
Sorry, I was doing the math wrong. My bad.
Yeah, and you're doing Pathfinder maths?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. It's another 12.
What's with the dubs? Everyone's getting doubles.
Let's see if I can roll another one, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I wonder if your dice are broken again.
Yeah, let's just see if...
No,
they're not.
Okay.
No.
With a 12, you definitely can smell that Rinningham's in the vicinity. To pinpoint it's not exactly easy, because you also smell Penn and you smell Klor, but you can smell that Rinningham's in front of you.
What percent chances do you think I would have of putting on the brakes and sliding up right next to Rinningham?
0, because Penn went and grabbed him to pull him on his backpack.
Yoda!
All right, in that case, let's continue moving forward.
All right. Running. So you cannot see, and you were earlier using their bickering to track location. Are you going to pass them, or are you going to keep using the noise right in your vicinity? You have enough wherewithal to know that you're right up on them.
There's dark vision in front of me. We're just going to go right behind them and follow them along.
Okay.
We're going to trust somebody. We're going to try to use somebody else's ability to see to guide us through this darkened hallway and hope they don't lead us anywhere bad.
Okay. And right before we go on a break, we're going to have Penn quickly roll an athletics check.
Okay. Not 20, but I have a -1, so 19.
The scene in Lord of the Rings, Éowyn on her horse, just picks up Merry and just like puts him on the horse.
Yep.
You kind of do something like that as you're running along. You watch it happen. His butt doesn't even have the chance to actually hit the ground before you just grab him by the scruff, just throw him onto your back. In fact, really, it's now on him. He makes the dexterity save he rolls a 19 to even figure out what the hell is going on instead of being dropped as you just, place him there. And you're able to just kind of keep on going. And Rinningham is like totally just koala bearing it on your back. And with that splendid visual in our minds, we are going to take a break. We're back. When we last left off, Rinningham had just been pulled up in his koala, backpacking on Penn as they run down the hallway. Bob is currently carrying Klor in his teeth in direwolf form as he runs down the hallway using the sounds of Penn talking and moving to guide him. And Theo fell behind. More accurately, was left behind. And is slowly getting surpassed by more and more of the pill bugs as they are catching up. There's more and more fire just kind of kicking Theo in the back. And a giant red-skinned, rough, textured, worm-like entity is sliding past Theo at a very quick rate. It has wounds in its body that are not allowing it to move as normally as one would expect for a worm-like creature. And Theo had just a few moments ago used his shovel to take a whack at one of the spots with the hopes of maybe severing some of the dead weight. Theo, you are watching as the pill bugs that are near enough to it continue to scramble towards the spot, and you can see them using their little claw-like feet to kind of grip into the wound and squeeze it shut. And you do see that they're having a pretty good effect on it as the wound begins to pass you again as the worm is moving faster again.
And due to the hallucinogenic nature of the gases filling the room, they look like minions as they're trying to help correct a wound.
Like a worm grew?
Exactly.
It's like Gru's piloting the worm as it's going, and they're like,
we are going to steal the moon! Okay, so DM, you mentioned that when Theo injured it leaked that kind of green goopy stuff.
Greenish, but
right?
It was a lot more liquidy. It flowed a lot more naturally than the kind of thick, gunky, jelly-like stuff that Rinningham had missed with that caused all of this.
I'm thinking here, DM, and I've got kind of a crazy idea, and I don't know if it's a smart idea or a bad idea or what.
It's an idea.
But it's an idea! Now, me as the player, I know about something called a controlled burn. And I know that sometimes when firefighters are faced with a giant source of fire that's heading towards them, or heading towards a place where they don't want it to go,
yeah,
they'll light another fire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we've established, that Theo saw Rinningham light goop on fire before.
Uh-huh.
He knows that there's, flammable smoke in the hallway, too.
Uh-huh.
And he knows that his friends are up ahead and that he wants to get out of there alive at some point. He doesn't know about controlled burns, but he does know something about fires, and that's if you get rid of oxygen, they don't burn well.
Uh-huh.
Because, he's seen people put out candles before, and you smother them out, and you put fires out by smothering them. The look on your face is worried.
Sam, where are you going with this? What is Theo planning? What is Theo doing?
Me, the player? What is Theo doing? Theo is gonna move. He's not dashing. He's gonna move ahead of the worm. He's gonna leave the shovel behind because the shovel has a goop on it, and the worm has been leaking goop, and he needs to ditch some weight so he can move, and he needs a hand free.
Okay.
So he can do something that he's done before without help from other people.
So free action, drop shovel. Keep on booking it. What is?
He's gonna try to light an arrow on fire and shoot it at the worm. Right for the goop. That area. The general area of the worm.
Okay, you're roll to attack.
We're gonna light fires, man!
More fire.
Look, I'm sitting here at 17 HP. That's like half my health points. One way or another, I'm not surviving this, most likely.
Yeah, you are. Come on.
Okay.
Which party are you in?
Mm-hmm.
We always bring everybody home.
Do we?
Even if it's the work of Penn, everybody.
That's a 26 to hit, DM.
Your body is burned. I can't bring the ashes back. I need something.
All right.
Roll for damage. Roll for damage.
It's just a rapid clearing of the
That's
skeleton.
4 damage.
Roll an additional d4 because you did the fire. You tried to do the fire arrow.
I tried to do the fire arrow. D4. That's the.
Wait, how did he light the fire? How did he light the arrow on fire?
It's a 2.
We're just gonna yada yada that for a half second here.
We're gonna yada yada it to see exactly how badly Theo explodes himself.
Roll me some percentile dice, Sam.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm having fun here. I'm usually just to stop it here, okay? I'm usually the DM.
No,
I
you're
get to
fine.
put
Just-
up with
just-
people's shenanigans.
Just go.
I don't get to do the shenanigans.
Just do the
Oh
shenanigans.
no! I'm excited for the shenanigans. I'm again. It's just the
71,
expectations.
DM. Tell me how badly it goes.
So you are watching as this thing, was kind of getting ahead, and you just kind of like book it, drop the shovel, pull out the bow, knock an arrow. As you're doing it, you're like intentionally scraping against the wall a little bit, and it creates enough spark. There's gunk and schmutz flying around. You're like, oh, let's get some on the arrow. It lights. You drop the, your hold on it. It's just this whole dramatic, like, borderline Hawkeye moment as you just pop, and it just kind of goes right between the two of the pill bugs and into the wound.
Sorry.
And you watch as it kind of like smolders slightly going in, and then just kind of like the arrow just stays stuck, and you see like a wisp of steam come out, and a gurgling noise from up ahead where you hear, or no, its head is just kind of like groans and grumbles, and you can feel the ground that was vibrating beneath you vibrate a little touch more. What is your AC? It's not high enough. It's not high enough.
My AC is a 14.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay.
I'm getting hit here. Just tell me what the damage is, boss. Let's do this.
I'm about to roll it. This is about to get real fun.
Hope you have that second character made.
I do. I've got some ideas. Part of the fun D&D, right?
Theo, you watch as some of the pill bugs start to kind of barrel over each other on the ground and are trying to scurry up the wall. Because they were just running on the floor, but the wall's a little slower for them. The ones that have been on the wall have been the ones that tail behind the most. These get just immediately out of the way, and you watch as the path in front of you clears for a second before you feel a sharp thump on the side of your body as the entire worm's body slams you into the wall for 10 damage. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Alright, okay. Alright, let me adjust my health though first. Okay. Oh, here we go. This is fun. I like it. That's a 17, DM.
You are not knocked prone. You managed to basically just get smashed into the wall. You kind of get rolled along with it because it's still moving ahead. It's just took its body and just threw itself at you. And it is just kind of, you feel the pressure and you feel some bones just kind of like strain. You probably have some fractures. You kind of get spun as it moves itself back towards the middle to be able to move a little bit more smoothly. And you're still on your feet, but barely, and you are quite bruised. However, you're noticing more of the pill bugs are giving you birth, and they're starting to climb onto the worm body as it passes by. And you see now, as it continues to pass, that there are sections that are all still moving a lot more normally. There just was a couple of spots that were bad from the damage it took as it continues to move and just go ahead.
Okay, I had an idea. It didn't pan out. It's fine. Still fun to try.
Yeah. we're gonna circle back to Theo. So,
did Klor see any of that happen?
I'm loving this.
Perch?
No, because this is all. Theo hasn't even hit the junction yet. That you guys passed through. Like, the flames are still right basically behind Theo. You know, for you guys, it's all still dark. And granted, Theo, you can see where it is. You're almost there. You've only got like 30 more feet to go before you can start passing through. But now you're kind of racing against the thing that's now wide enough to go through the entrance. Just it's wide enough to go through the entrance. So we'll cross that in a moment. and Rinningham. And roll me a perception check.
Okay. 9.
Okay, this tunnel is just looking tunnely. You see the pits and things, and you're just like, you're just waiting for more smoke or anything else to kind of start coming out. Rinningham, however, rolls a nat 19. Okay, much better.
Yay! Koala backpack for the win.
Never mind, he automatically fails because he can't see. He's dependent on you. All of that was a complete fallacy. It never happened.
I was about to say. Well, it's a perception. He could hear things.
Yeah, that's true. I don't hear nothing, but here. And you feel him kind of like slap you upside the head, but in doing so, you get the sensation of maybe next time things will go just a little better as he casts guidance on you. Slapping you upside the head with it. So next time you can roll a d4 and add it to an ability check.
Okay.
That sounds about how Rinningham would get guidance.
Well, I mean, there's that, and
It really does.
They've been bickering on and off this whole time, so the
We're gonna
ability
end
just
up with
kind of
best of effing friends.
I would pay to watch this buddy comedy.
a rich boy spending his times in the frat house is put into squalor. A dropped-out medical student deciding to try to find a unique way to make their way in the world. What does this dynamic duo get themselves into with Pen and Rin?
Shenanigans.
I need to, I can work on that. We'll
Ultimate
come up with something a little bit more refined.
To the nanigans.
All right.
DM.
Klor.
How much light does a Eldritch Blast would my Eldritch Blast give off in a pitch black location?
The problem is the speed at which it moves. So it's kind of like a snapshot, because the spell, when you cast it, can move its full distance within the confines of the round. Really, it's within your part of the turn of the round. So it would be like a flash of your distinct, colorful energy going down 120 feet, but for like a fraction of a second.
Gotcha.
It's more than nothing, but it's one of those, it's more like echolocation, just visual echolocation.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not doable. There are mechanics I could throw together real quick if you wanted to try to use it that way.
I don't.
Okay, good. So actually, it's now on to Klor and Bob. Klor is in a better position now to be able to see and kind of drop themselves out, take a gander, and pull themselves back in. Bob, you have still a hobgoblin in your mouth. Not the most comfortable sensation to be carrying around this guy, but it is what it is. Keep squirming.
Now the folks that are in front of me that I'm using as my guide, are they continuing to move forward? Are they slowing down?
It sounds like they're continuing to move forward. You can kind of hear Rinningham's, slap it upside the head of, you got it. Next time we'll do better. And you can hear the movement of the feet. It's not hard for you to track kind of what's going on. Your keen senses are really keeping you right in step with them.
But we're still making good forward progress.
You are. Roll me a perception check. Just a straight perception check. Oh, nat 1. Cool. No, you're able to follow and keep running up with Penn and Rinningham.
All right, as long as we're making progress, I'm staying right behind him.
So back to the adventures of Theo against
a worm,
a great beast from underground that he will have interesting stories to tell about if he ever gets out of here.
Oh, it's depending on whether or not I survive, right?
Yep, like I said, if he ever gets out of here.
All right, okay. Well, Theo's in a race now. I think he realizes this thing is big, so it'll beat him out of the tunnel. So we are going to we're going to dash. We're going to dash 60 feet, DM.
Okay. Roll me some percentile dice, please.
Sure. I love this. I'm having so much fun. It's just pure chaos. 16!
Roll me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay! 10!
You take 7 points of fire damage as another explodey gust of energy just kind of like blasts, and it consumes your vision for part of a second. You can feel the hairs on your forehead and in your eyebrows and your hair, they're just burnt off and then the flames go back and your skin is raw against the suddenly cool air as another pop kind of takes it, and you see the worm beside you. As soon as your eyes clear from the brightness, its skin is crackling and some of the pill bugs are just kind of falling off, and other ones are trying to go on, and you can see them kind of sort of gently pulling at some of the broken and burnt pieces of this larger entity and tearing some pieces of it off and then nestling themselves in to the spot.
I figured you wanted me to like tauntaun, but Theo wouldn't have known how to do that. Yeah, by the way, I'm down, so you can start rolling those saves, DM.
You're down?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is that when Bob was checking to see if people were injured, the one person that he didn't check was the ranger.
Oh, shit.
You're absolutely right.
I was sitting at 23 HP to start with. The last hit into the wall took me to 7. With 7 points of fire damage, it takes me to a solid 0.
You're absolutely right. I did not check. My bad.
All right. That's how Theo would have wanted to go out in an adventure, right? His buddies are all ahead of him. He tried something that he thought might help him. So if he dies here, he'll die with no regrets.
This is gonna get real interesting then. So the rest of the party, you feel faintly a rumbling on the ground. You can feel the ground begin to shake slightly, but it never intensifies. It just kind of rumbles there for a while, and as you guys continue to run, it slowly begins to subside. And
I'm in the mouth.
Another 6 seconds go by of you guys running. Another 6, round of you guys running goes by, and I'm gonna need. Actually, basically, what are you guys doing? Is you guys just keep running? Like, what do you just?
Are we getting any closer to some place where we can stop because we've gotten to a reasonably safe area?
Klor, you rolled an intelligence check. What was your intention with that?
I was trying to be honest with myself whether or not Klor would anticipate that he was running with Theo and then got picked up by a wolf, and then Theo was not in the mouth of the wolf with him, so would he then have the wherewithal to realize with his dark vision that there's only one person not in front of them, and that would be Theo. And I've decided that with a roll of 10 on intelligence, he's probably still worried about his life or death situation with his 2 points of exhaustion.
Okay, that is entirely within your power to decide on that particular.
I'm sorry.
I love it. No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we get back to it, have we reached a point where we have any sense of we've run far enough?
That is where I was hoping. Actually, really, the most appropriate person to do that would be a roll from Penn.
I am in the front. Yes.
Yes, you are in the front. So roll a perception check or a wisdom check. Actually, perception is wisdom, so roll a perception check.
16.
You are beginning to recognize that you are getting closer and closer to the grotto-like area.
So it's open.
It's beginning to the pathway is beginning to open. Yeah, and you're seeing fewer and fewer of the pits in the walls.
Is it still pitch black in here? Is it pitch black in the grotto?
No, the grotto isn't pitch black. You're just since you have dark vision, you're beginning to recognize more of the surroundings as you. Because you guys went into the grotto, this is the tunnel from the grotto that you guys went to.
Yeah. I just don't remember how well lit the grotto was.
The outer area was dimly lit as you got closer. It was not, it's bright enough to read comfortably and be able to observe things, but it wasn't like campfire light, if that makes sense. Think of like a backlit keyboard where it's bright enough to kind of do things, but just a lot of it. But really, it's more about the volume of sources of light than it is about.
Oh, because we're back in Shroomland?
That's the grotto area, yeah, is where you're heading.
Yay! Penn's just gonna haphazardly yell backwards. We're almost back to the shrooms!
The shrooms!
And then, I don't know how fast we're gonna get there, but Penn's gonna come to a stop when we get to the shrooms.
Perfect time for someone to be like, I have no memory of this place.
I was on shrooms at the time.
Klor, that's right.
Klor, as you are hanging from the maw, can you roll me a d12?
Ooh, no modifiers?
No modifiers, just roll me a d12. You've mostly just been hanging around, so I'm gonna...
6.
Okay. Basically, 6-ish minutes of just kind of running past, and as you guys continue to go, there's the distinct smell still in the air, because you guys walked for a while from the grotto. It wasn't until like a ways in that the texture started to change and everything like that. The smell is persistent as the smoke kind of still continues to lightly sit at the top of the tunnel. You guys are running full tilt, and there's just still a presence of what was going on. However, you never see more light from the fire, really. A faint glow way off in the distance, but it never catches up. You never feel any more distinct pressures of the temperature changing. You never feel any more of those humid breaths as you were passing by some sections. And Pen, you're the first to see it because you're in front and running full tilt. There's a slight break in the wall up ahead where there is a faint bluish green glow kind of emanating into the hallway.
Did we decide that this is a good place to stop?
I do not know, do you?
So it looks familiar.
I'm thinking once we get to the mushroom grotto, that's a good place to stop.
I mean, there's going to be a moment. So yeah, you guys run and you've made it to the grotto.
All right, at that point, I need to put down my passenger. Blah.
Yeah.
And just like I did, because I specifically did an inventory, when I look down the hallway, we're going to do another inventory.
You're down one.
Oh no!
And
Right. When was the last time we saw Sam?
Last time you saw Theo?
Theo, sorry.
Probably when you picked me up.
Oh crap! That's a long time ago. I didn't check. Did anybody else check?
Can I with my dark vision look around and see what I see?
You can look back into the hallway. You can go back into there. You're in a place. I'll describe it to you in a second.
Yeah, I haven't been. I have no recollection of this.
Peeking back down into the hallway, you look down all 120 feet, I believe, of your dark vision, and it's just a dark tunnel. There's a distinctly burny smell as you put your head in that's present, whereas when you pull your head back out into the grotto, it's a more earthy smell. Slightly sweet, but mostly earthy smell. But looking down, you don't see anything.
And Bob was distinctly faster than everybody else in the past. Bob, go get Theo.
Okay, let's do this. Okay. Now, before we do this, there's something that we need to do first, or I need to do first.
Okay.
And this involves a logistics question.
Okay.
I need to transform back to my actual form.
Yes.
So, since Wild Shape allows me to do 1 hour before reverting back, and do it twice per rest, does this count as part of my first 1 hour, or is this a second transformation when I go back to wolf form?
So if you revert back to yourself, that ends that use of Wild Shape.
Yeah, I was hoping to get around that. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to go to my normal form because I need to cast a spell, and that spell is Dark Vision. So we're going to cast that on myself, which gives me Dark Vision for 1 hour. And then we go back into wolf form so that I am able to actually negotiate this darkened hallway effectively.
Smart thinking, I love it.
You can cast Dark Vision?
Yes, I can. 2nd level spell.
Heck yeah. All right. Cool. I can live with that.
All right. We're on our way back. We're doing our perception check, doing our scent and hearing, and trying to locate our downed compatriot.
Okay.
This may be a recovery mission, just so you're aware.
Hey, it's all right. We're on it.
So you
got
sprint,
a plan.
and
It may not be a good one, but there's a plan.
Roll me some percentile dice first. We'll start with that.
Alrighty. Oh, 79.
79. Okay. Roll me perception check, and you'll get advantage with this.
That's a 23.
Okay. you guys watch as Bob comes in, drops off Klor, moves back into his normal form, casts a spell on himself. What does it look like when you pop yourself with dark vision?
I don't know. I imagine that there's a somatic component. There's a spell component, which I should have on hand because I have my herbalism kit and my spell casting kit and all that other stuff. And I would assume that there would just be kind of like a little warping of space as everything settles down on me, and then everything just looks like it's normal to everybody else. I've never seen anybody actually cast dark vision on themselves, so I don't know how to describe it.
Okay.
I imagine it would look appearance-wise, it'd be similar to casting like Bull Strength or Cat's Grace, that type of, where you would see something happen, but the character would look normal after it was done.
The thing that came to mind for me was like there's like a light metallic shimmer in his eyes as he looks around, and the light just kind of reflects off the back, giving himself an additional artificial
eyes.
Dark vision.
Creepy, but I love it.
Point of order, Theo. I didn't notice this on your character sheet. You did notice this on your character sheet. You have Colossus Slayer.
Oh, I do, don't I?
Yes. When you hit a creature with a weapon attack, the creature takes an extra 1d8 damage if it's below its max HP.
Yeah. Forgot about that. That's a new thing ever since I leveled up.
So I hadn't noticed it either. So it was just like, oh, okay. So, Bob.
Yeah.
You have to search for a while.
Yeah.
As you head back through that area that you had been able to squeeze through, you make it all the way back to there, the area where you had to squeeze through together, and then the turn was enough to obscure what light was coming through. You find there a hole instead of where there wasn't a hole before, where there's instead of a hole in the ground, there's a hole in the ceiling, and you can see part of the opening has been kind of carved upwards.
Okay.
There are lots of the pill bugs just kind of like scuttering. Some of them look very wounded, and they're just kind of like on their sides, and you can see their legs kind of barely twitching.
I'm going to assume that there's debris on the ground directly below the hole.
There is, but less than you would have expected for something of this sort of nature. And looking down the hallway that you had been traveling with the flames at your back, it's now down to a faint glow. There are some spots on the walls and on the floor that kind of emanate lightly.
You got some hot spots.
Yeah, some hot spots. It smells particularly burny, sooty, nasty.
Does it smell medium rare?
Well, it's well done, but like a pungent, like burnt. And there's a burnt caramel like smell mixed in there too. It's not pleasant.
Gotcha.
And you keep going back further along. Give me an investigation check.
Okie dokie. Ooh, not so good. 7.
Half because of the rush, half because of just the lighting has changed, and you're looking at this from the other direction. It's hard for you to gauge where you are in relation to where you last saw Theo. You were in humanoid form, coming one way. You're in direhound or direwolf form now, so it takes you a while before you find, kind of against the wall, a humanoid shape.
Okay, we go over and nuzzle it. We sniff it. Does it smell alive?
When you go and nudge it where you would expect it to be kind of soft and fleshy, it's not.
Gross.
Are we saying crunchy? Is that the word?
It's got some crunch to it. It's got some crunch to it.
We're talking charbroiled chicken wings, not fried.
I love it.
Well,
its back is to you. It's kind of just like curled against the wall.
Okay.
Just kind of.
Okay. All right. Enough with the descriptions.
Okay.
I'm getting kind of grossed out, actually.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Considering that we're in a animal form, can I still do a medicine check just to confirm what I'm suspecting?
I mean,
confirm the
yes. It'll be mostly visual based as opposed to Yeah, and you can't do fine-tune inspection, but yes, you can.
Yeah, I'm still thinking it's charbroiled.
Doesn't look to be moving, that's for sure.
All right. Well, we're not going to give up, so I guess we're going to have to, like, pick up the remnants here and do an exfiltration. This is going to suck. But, you know, being well done, it makes it better.
Don't put it in your mouth.
Just gently picks up the form. For the rest of the party, it's been close to 20 minutes at this point. Bob, you've had about 20 minutes to kind of think.
Ooh, gross, ooh, gross, ooh, gross. When is this going to be over with? Yuck!
And you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and have you looked at Theo's face at all, or do you just kind of pick it up as it is and just leave it not facing toward... Okay.
Pick up as is and go.
Okay. Who's watching the entrance to the grotto, guys?
Wow.
Klor is very concerned. Him and Theo have been through things, and he is very concerned, so he's watching patiently, but not patiently, for the large wolf to return with his friend.
Oh, this is going to get interesting.
Cue the sad music. Are we crying now?
I'm laughing so hard I can't. If you see tears,
I was going to say the wake has begun early.
I am
Klor,
trying my best to stop, and it's not working. I'm so sorry. I ruined the moment.
Klor, can you roll me a wisdom saving throw?
Sure thing, boss man. Ooh, 18.
It's hard to stomach because you can immediately recognize that Theo is Theo's not with you guys anymore. You had seen things in better condition after what happened at your village. And that's what catches you is you feel a warmth kind of presence in the back of your mind, a familiar warm presence. You know who, just kind of there with you. And it's enough that you keep from breaking down, at least for the moment. Whatever you do next is up to you, but the first thing that comes to mind is this is beyond what you've seen.
Yikes. I guess I'll walk up to Bob, my large canine friend, and I just pat him and say thank you. You can set him down. And then I look at Penn. Is there anything you can do?
Not at this time.
I think Klor is very calm in his anger and sadness and resigned to the fate of his friend Theo. And then he looks at Rinningham. No, he doesn't do anything. That's it. He doesn't know what caused the fire. He cannot react.
Saying Klor doesn't know.
He cannot react as one would.
Rinningham doesn't really look up from kind of like cleaning himself off and trying to brush himself up and just like straighten up his clothes and everything until after he hears Bob gently put Theo down. Oh, what? Well, and Rinningham, who's normally got lots to say, is rendered close to speechless. He just kind of pulls out his kazoo, and you guys have heard this in. It's hard to play a kazoo
mournfully
in a somber tone.
I would give anything to hear this right now.
However, with a 26 performance check, it's almost like you can hear tonal, like, think, tonal throat singing type deal, where it's like the kazoo is really just part of like a guttural that is dirgeful. Like it's an emotional expression of mourning that you did not expect out of a Verdan of his personality, and it's really the most he can muster in this moment. And it's not like taps where he's just like cheesily doing burr, burr, burr. No, it's a lot. Picture a little bit more somber than that, because I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But Rinningham is it's almost just loud enough where you guys can barely hear it, but it's almost like he's comforting himself with the song. Bob, Penn, you guys, Penn, what were you doing in the 20 minutes that Bob was gone?
Probably fighting with Rinningham. I'm not sure that our fight would have stopped necessarily at that point. Maybe it would have started dwindling down while we're cleaning ourselves off.
Okay, that works.
Describe this fight. Would it give any indication on who started the fire?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of pens throwing out the you absolute dumb little imp taking the lantern and swinging it about just haphazardly. What, you're just gonna touch it to some substance and look, it caught on fire. So what did you're like, yeah, let's throw the whole thing on there and you set the whole tunnel on fire. Yeah, oh no, he's just letting him have it.
So actually, in hindsight, I should have let that conversation happen. So yes, Klor, you do have an idea of you have an inkling of what would have happened.
Awesome. So what would have happened was you would see the pendant on Klor's wrist just begin spinning very, very quickly. And he would have turned around and said, "You did what?" And then you would have seen a shimmer in Klor's right hand and a long silvery electricity would have grown out from his hand and taken the shape of a long sword, seemingly out of nowhere.
Oh, no. Am I going to have to step between two of my party mates?
And he, as he stalks down Rinningham with ill intent.
Yeah,
Rinningham.
I have to step in between them.
So, actually, as you approach Rinningham, roll me a perception check.
Theo in the afterlife be like, guys, this wasn't what I wanted. I wouldn't have wanted this. I wouldn't have approved. Well, he's getting a bag of popcorn.
With disadvantage, that is a 12.
That's enough. As you're approaching, he's not really afraid, and you can see his eyes are actually like pouring tears as he just quietly continues to play to himself.
That slows Klor down little to none. So
okay, now if Bob wants to interfere,
right? pending the next movement, this is going to get ugly quick.
It's just stepping between them so that they can't access each other. No other form of action, nothing aggressive or growling or anything like that. Just physically blocking the path. That's all.
Are you in wolf form still?
Yes.
He's not come out of wolf form yet.
Is that it?
That's
all
it.
You're doing? All right, then I'll fire Eldritch Blast at Rinningham as I yell, "How could you be so dumb?" and echo many things that Penn has already said.
Okay.
Well, pissed off firing Eldritch Blast.
So you're gonna pissed off fire an Eldritch Blast as Bob is walking in front of, get in the way.
Avoiding Bob if I can. Obviously, that's going to make it more difficult.
The whole idea is that Bob is intentionally getting in the way of you attacking Rinningham. That is basically Bob. So if you're going to try to attack Rinningham anyway, we're going to start with Klor. Roll to attack your Eldritch Blast.
Yeah. So essentially, I'm imagining, and although Bob is in wolf form, like, I have a sword and he's like holding me back, so I'm shooting the only ranged attack that I have possible.
It is more of a. I was picturing it more, and Bob, correct me if I'm wrong here. You saw that Klor was approaching violently, and you literally just stepped in the way and just basically are like, yeah, no, I'm in between you two now.
Yeah, basically that's it. Just, I'm not going to do this now.
Okay.
All right. Well, that was a 14 to hit.
That actually you're in.
That would hit.
That would hit Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll damage.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Not bad.
That's 9, and then not meant for Bob, but you're going to take it because that's the intent I had. You will take an extra 2 points of lightning damage as you take that hit.
That'll work. Got it. Ow.
That would be mine.
Bob and Penn are the ones who can see this. Klor, you can't because he's in the way. Rinningham just kind of like plops down as Bob kind of gets in the way and hears the blast go off, and he stops playing his kazoo. I didn't mean to. And I think that is where we're going to end today's session. Yeah, Sam, I am so sorry.
First death of the campaign. I love it. Never apologize.
You're
Do not apologize
dead
to me
yet.
Oh no, he's dead.
Oh no, this is D&D. You can come back. This is like
You
Star
have to
Trek.
be-
No
okay,
characters ever dead.
Two things. You have to be
That's
a willing
fine.
soul. And two, you've only got a limited time to resurrect him. You're deep underground and a ways away from anyone who could possibly cast that spell. No, thank you, DM. You never have to apologize to me for the consequences of my own actions or for anything that happens. Nice.
It's
This is
just
what I live for.
I feel it's just one of those. It's where the feels is.
I apologize for laughing, guys. I really didn't mean to. It was the mental
it's
image
awesome.
of like Bob scooping up this like burnt chicken nugget and putting it in his mouth. It's like, no, what do you have in your mouth? Put it down. What do you? Let me see what you have. Was all I could think.
It's just like a dog in the backyard. It's like, what do you got?
Exactly. I just like the mental image of like Bob Wolf just like trouncing away with this thing, like looking over his shoulder, like, nope. Keep going.
Yep, that's
man.
very, very much dog-like.
That was fun, DM. Thank you for a fun session.
Thank you all for joining. Thanks all for hanging, and rest in peace, Theo.